The celebration of Black History Month at Lajes Field has already had its fair share of memorable moments, including services at the base chapel, events for Lajes youth, and the recent arrival of a World War II Tuskegee Airman. At this morning's National Prayer Breakfast, guests were given a unique opportunity to hear from one of America's better-known speakers on the subject of civil rights, the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Senior Airman Alex Patton reports.
A full house this morning at the club enjoyed breakfast with a man who's walked side by side with Martin Luther King, formed the Rainbow Coalition, and run for president. As those in attendance took in the early meal, Reverend Jesse Jackson reviewed his notes, hoping he could once again stir minds to blossom. Jackson wasn't the only person in attendance recognized. Tuskegee Airman Colonel Herbert Carter received a warm response from the crowd.
They are authentic heroes, those whose lives, risk, and worth and service have made all of us better, and better into generations yet to come. And for the Tuskegee Airmen, we're grateful for their role they played in helping to make America better and to make America more complete.
Praise for the heroes who laid the groundwork for today's integrated military turned to prayers for those individuals who find themselves flying into danger in the Middle East.
We hope that through some reason, some divine intervention, that the worst nightmare will not occur, and that lives will be spared from our troops and the people of Iraq. We fervently pray for peace.
With thoughts of modern-day conflicts and foreign ethnic disputes, Reverend Jackson saluted the military for its efforts toward equality.
Those pilots flying to Iraq, they don't have time to play color games, because in the foxhole, with those anti-missiles flying at the airplane, you can't use color for a crutch.
Reverend Jackson's appearance at this morning's prayer breakfast added inspiration and food for thought during this month's celebration of Black history. For News 8, I'm Senior Airman Alex Patton.
Reverend Jackson, who currently serves as the President's Special Envoy on Peace and Democracy to Africa, is returning home from a visit to Liberia. One of his guests attending this morning's breakfast, former Tuskegee Airman Lieutenant Colonel Herbert Carter, speaks at tomorrow's African American Awareness Committee's banquet. Tomorrow is also Valentine's Day. Flowers are a popular gift this time of year, but aren't easy to spot when you're just driving around the island, mostly because spring hasn't quite reached Terceira, unless you visit one of the island's greenhouses, where the flowers and plants know no season. Airman Alex Patton recently toured one of those flower havens.
During a wet, windy winter on Terceira, the only gardens most people would be willing to walk through are indoor ones. As strange as that sounds, the island does have a few, and one of its biggest is located on the São Mateus side of Angra. Its owners met while working in the agricultural department of the Portuguese government, and their professional passion converted nicely into a private love.
It started out as a hobby, and we have been expanding ever since. We got out to visit fairs, and we study and experiment a lot with the various flowers and plants of the world.
The various greenhouses include one dedicated almost exclusively to cactus. Many of the cactus are from their private collection and are for display purposes only. Those who visit can see plants and flowers from as far away as Australia, Asia, and South America. The facility includes animal life as well, and plans for an additional aquarium and coral and seashell display are already in the works, in addition to more space planned for plants as well.
We welcome people in tours. We just ask that schools and other groups call ahead first and give us a week. We are open for that, and the week's warning is only for the big groups. For small groups, that's not necessary.
In addition to local business, they ship large quantities of certain flowers to places where they are not as plentiful. Angraflor has earned the reputation as the #1 European distributor of dried hydrangeas. They also help build gardens for others. And once you see the time they've invested, you may just start thinking about your own field of dreams. For News 8, I'm Senior Airman Alex Patton.
Angraflor is open 7 days a week with limited hours on Sunday.